Fox News wants you to be scared of the caravan. That's what all of their talk about it is designed to do. They don't want you to think about the actual people who are in this caravan, why they're there, what they're fleeing, what their actual life experience has been. Well, unfortunately for them, that's what we're gonna talk about now, because a particular subset of the caravan has actually made it near to the border already, thanks to some advocacy groups. This is a particular group of 80 LGBTQ members of that original caravan. And with support from an LGBTQ advocacy organization, this group of about 80 mostly LGBTQ people split off from the rest of the group after experiencing discrimination. That is both from the communities along the way and from fellow travelers in that caravan. And in the abstract, you might not really know what it's like to be an LGBTQ person from these countries fleeing, being a part of the caravan. So let's talk about some specifics. Honduran migrant Cesar Mejia explained, whenever we arrived at a stopping point, the LGBT community was the last to be taken into account in every way. So our goal was to change that and say, this time we are going to be first. That mistreatment reportedly included being denied food and access to showers, even by local groups providing aid to others in the caravan. And so that experience is what led to them working with these advocacy groups to bus ahead because most of the caravan is still hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles away. Advocacy groups reached out to them after they arrived in Mexico to help them with that. Loli Mendez, a trans woman and cosmetologist, said she had been assaulted and robbed by a gang back in El Salvador. She also spoke of a friend who was strangled and thrown off a bridge. And Keisha Catalea, a 24-year-old trans woman from Honduras, spoke of being doused with gas and set aflame in 2015. She explained that gangs often force trans people to sell drugs and prostitute themselves. So that is just 2 of the 80 people who are there at the border. If Fox News does begin talking about this caravan again, I would like to ask you the serious question. Do you believe that they will actually talk about the life experiences of any of the people there? Why they're actually trying to come to America? What they are actually fleeing from? In some cases, it is extremely dark.
Of course, they're not going to get into any of the details about who these people are and why they're really coming here. It's very similar to what happened during the Syrian refugee debate during the Obama administration. These are civilians in Syria who are fleeing a war in their own country, a war in which, Assad was specifically targeting civilians with the help of the Russian government. And the conversation that we had here in the United States was, they're terrorists. The question is, how much terrorism would they commit if they were here in the US? Like they were framed as terrorists from the get-go. So there is no sympathy or empathy coming from people like the hosts at Fox News or the producers at Fox News. But to go into the trans or LGBT part of this, look, we don't offer real protections for the trans community here in the United States. Those stories are persuasive to us because we care about people, period, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. But here in the US, we have not made nearly enough progress in just simply protecting the trans community.
Yeah.
The trans community is met with unfathomable violence here in the US. Many of them are beaten, murdered. They're not offered the same civil rights protections that others are in the US. So it sucks because I hear those stories and my heart goes out to them and I feel terrible for them. But we have our own, issues to deal with when it comes to how we treat the trans community. We really need to reflect on, how barbaric we are when it comes to certain groups of people that we don't understand.
Yeah, and so Fox News isn't gonna have that conversation, but if you are someone who is thinking about this, you have to ask yourself, do you wanna live in a country where we send those women back to potentially be killed or forced into prostitution? Or do you wanna be a country that welcomes them and is enhanced and strengthened through, like think about, these are people who are so strong, they're able to escape that situation, flee for thousands of miles while being discriminated along the way at every step. Wouldn't you want people with that sort of determination and strength and will to be a part of your country? That is what has made America strong, is that constant influx of people who are better than us. But Fox and Friends obviously doesn't see it that way.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.